actually live. You know what I mean? Then you wouldn't be doing weird stuff like this. Welcome to me beautiful work table. We are back inside Tabletop Simulator in the holodeck Starship USS Turdball. And this is me beautiful work table. Nice and simple, nothing on it. I got a little PDF of the adventure that I'm working on. This adventure is DDEX1-6. So this is the first season of Adventurers League for D&D. If you guys want to play the first adventure, this was one of the better ones. This is the first one I played when I got back into actually playing Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition with my son about 6 years ago now. And I had a great time running this, so much so that I'm running it again for a bunch of friends. And if DDEX 1 to 1.5, all of the maps for those adventures are available on my table images with One World table with images. And so yeah, if you wanted to play any of these, already pre-built, already ready to go and done, just add minis. You just have to go to the DM's Guild. Actually, you don't even have to do that. You could just search. Just search for like DDEX1-1. They gave them away free to game masters at the your local gaming stores and stuff like that. So I mean, you can go to the DM's Guild and buy it, but there's a gazillion copies of these things floating around because they were given away free. So this sits here, and today's table is going to be the last map in the adventure for this, which is going to be this dragon swamp. The premise is this: they chase your players. Your players chase this scroll thief, this guy that has been stealing things from in town, certain books and stuff like that. He's been stealing information. You chase him through the town. He gets out through this little escape hatch thing in the river, and your party chases him through the swamp, where he ends up in this little area here. This is the map of the dragon swamp. And so this is where this adventure concludes with you guys fighting this dragon. So we took, okay, so you can see that. Now I can't really show you much more than this, but the map came from, excuse me, Modern Campaign Map 13, this one right here. This map was made, you won't be able to see this either, by a guy named Panagia. It is called Modern Campaign Map 13, The Swamp. And this map had some really interesting and very cool elements on it. Maybe I'll throw this up at the end. So we're going to hit my button here because I want to make this fast and sweet and simple. We're going to load my table up, and this, oops. Wow, you almost felt for a second like you're headbutting the table there. That came up so quick. DDEX1-6 Map 3 Swamp. I'm going to hit the build button on that, and then while that's building, I did get an error that you can see back here. Second, because it's just loading elements. But the error just disappeared. I don't know why it even bothered coming up. It was weird. So there. So it's working. It's up and running. The error in the chat box window down here, the only difference is this was 2 in brackets and this was 3 in brackets, but it was for the same item. So sometimes when you get errors, just reload the table because there might be a bit of lag. Like it's trying to pull in all these elements, and with mod caching off, it sort of takes a bit. We are going to set the mood to dusk. And then this is the map that I've built using Paradigm, I don't know how you pronounce his name. I took his map that I'll show you at the end, and I turned it into this and changed a few things that I just want to showcase. I wanted to keep the map swampy, and by that I mean like wet and watery. I threw down a swampy swamp map. What an original idea. So I put this little area over here, which is where you're going to be able to drop your players in. So I go back here. Let's go to my miniatures, crack out my Paperforge minis, and let's throw down some orc barbarians. Get my human thief out. We got a halfling assassin. F8 is going to be the quickest way to get into scale them. I just 1-1-1 across the board from 365. 1-1 brings everything down to scale, and let's face it the right way. So your party has chased this guy through the swamp. It's been a couple of days. I'm making them roll constitution saves. They're going to get fatigue. If they fail too many times, you get too much fatigue. We're going to start reducing their strength modifiers, reducing other modifiers, making them roll. I would call it difficulty, like a hard difficulty, but I play a game that's ICRPG, which is basically Dungeons and Dragons with all the junk stripped off. So if you're playing D&D, you're going to make your players roll with disadvantage or something along those lines. Now, this barbarian guy should be a little bit bigger, so I'm going to make him 1.5. So he shows up a little bit bigger. As they've sort of rolled through this swamp, you know, water up to their feet, or up to their... That was brilliant too, right? Water up to their feet. Who would have thunk it? Water up to their knees for the last couple of days, trudging through this swamp. You know, your skin get just all nasty. So, you know, with the bugs and the insects and the mosquitoes and, you know, whatever else is going to peck at them along the way, they're going to be making some serious constitution checks just to sort of maintain sanity and whatnot. So here we have I should actually lower this down a little bit. Up into the ground. Make the flames come up a little bit more through the fire. There we go, it looks better. They hang out here. This is where they set up camp for the night. And this is where the adventure is going to begin. So here's the deal. In this adventure, they chase the scroll thief guy who's been stealing stuff from in town into this swamp. In my map, I'm going to have this pre-configured with the dragon sitting back in this corner and another guy sitting up in front of this fire. I've taken them off of this map because they are intellectual property of Paperforge that I pay through Patreon, so I can't just give his stuff away. But my map will come pre-configured with the guy sitting in here, a dragon here, and a little dude here. And that's okay, because when I build this map, this model here, if you look at it, you can see how big the square is just by looking at the green bits. So for me to put a miniature inside of this model, it's not going to happen. The models will bounce around the outside because the collider for this gigantic castle is way too big. Let's go back because I can use her. So this is the quick gist of it. Here's say this is my dragon. Unlock her. And I want to place her in the back. As soon as I start trying to go in there, she goes up. Because the collider for this thing messes everything up. So the trick to getting them in there is just to put them on the ground, lock them in place, and use F8, and bada bing. But now here's the second problem. The second problem is, how do you get them out? You can't. It becomes a major pain in the ass because you can't actually reach inside. Your mouse hand is bumping on the collider. So you can't select anything but the castle. Here's the trick to the quick way of doing this if you need to move your character, your dudes from inside. Select the castle, choose this, hit 50, scooch in, right click on your dragon, and then he can come outside of the castle. Wheel mouse back out. It takes a mere second. We're going to put this back down to 1.17, and your dragon is now outside and free to roam the swamp and chase your players. It doesn't take that long to do. So I'm going to pre-configure it so that I don't have to take the step of putting them in. I just have to do the step of taking them out. I think that this is a fantastic map. The guy built it with some modern stuff, like it had a helicopter and whatnot on it. But this dragon that my players are going to meet in this swamp is just a fledgling dragon. So this old ancient runes that was in the corner, as soon as I saw this, I was like, hell yes, this is awesome. This is going to be a fantastic place for like a young dragon to make his first lair. The other thing that's kind of neat too is when my players are here and I spawn this map, this is what they're going to see. I'm not going to put any fog of war on this map. I'm just laying it out as it is. And the reason is because my players are going to come over here and they're going to be like, you know, what's going on? I know they're going to be snooping around, peeking in here. They're going to be like, oh, there's a dragon. And they're going to get themselves prepared for the dragon. You know, they're going to get in dragon mode. How do we kill this dragon? Oh, shit, it's a dragon. But the best part about it is that I'm hoping that they won't notice this noxious green gas that I've laid around here as sort of another trap, like another way to make it more difficult for them to, oh, look at that. Somebody's popping up in here, giving me messages while I'm recording this video. I'm hoping they don't notice this noxious green gas, because as soon as they come in here, this stuff is going to start playing with their minds. They're going to start seeing things. It's a layer of protection for the dragon. It's going to get in their eyes. They're going to see things floating out of the corner of their eyes and you know, get all freaked out from stuff like that. But also, it's going to make them water up. They're you know, tear their eyes up, that kind of thing. It's going to get in their mouths. They're going to start coughing and choking. So if they're, you know, when it comes around to their turn, I'm going to constantly make them make constitution bonuses, or sorry, constitution checks. Failing those checks, they're going to start taking things like, you know, harder. It's going to be harder for them to shoot. Like I call it hard difficulty. You're going to start making them roll disadvantage. You're going to take away temporary removal of one of their attributes like strength, maybe dexterity. So they, you know, these things build up the longer they're here screwing around with this dragon. But he's not the main sort of thing yet, because their attention is going to be sort of focused on this dragon over here. I'm going to actually do a little thing to sort of wear them down before they get to the dragon. And something that that I found in and amongst my minions from Paperforge Mini was this freaking awesome guy and this guy. No, it's not alligator. It is crocodile. So I really do not care if my players see what's going on over there. I don't, you know, sort of letting them have at it. You notice how the green is just around the castle? I love that. I think that's fantastic. I love the fire in the background there too, sort of illuminating the inside. This is a great map. I'm pretty impressed. Ooh, I saw something right here pop up that I do not like. Right click. We want to go to toggle and turn off the tooltip so that when your players mouse over it, they don't see it. But here's the last thing I'm going to say before I shut this map down. So as your players are like sort of peeking over there, they're like, oh, there's a dragon, you know, yada yada yada. They're gonna start moving through this map. I'm gonna, you know, start asking them what they're gonna do, where they're gonna go. But about halfway through, in and amongst this tree, I'm also gonna have this pre-set up. Is there's gonna be a frickin' weregator. I'm gonna put him on the map and I'm gonna stuff him in this tree. And as my players sort of creep through the swamp, I'm going to see if they notice this weregator, and then when they get in, on, around, near him, you know, close to him, he leaps out from behind the bushes, the trees, with his little gator buddies, his little gator ladies, and hopefully they all fly in and start making some sweet chicken chowder out of my party, which is going to be fantastic. So that's sort of my take on this map. Those are my thoughts. They got a nice little safe haven up here where they're going to set up camp. There's a bunch of nice ways that you can zap them with fatigue if you play certain games. The environment is going to be able to work for them. They'll be able to take cover behind some of these trees. Maybe even climb a tree or something like that to get away from the crocodiles, and then take them out with arrows if they're smart. In which case the were crocodile will go after those players that are smart enough to climb trees, because he can too. So you've sort of got that working for you. And yeah, all around, they're going to be thinking dragon in the back corner back here, when the reality is weregator's going to be waiting up here to turn them into some human skin boots, which is going to be sweet. Him and his little posse of gnarly-mouthed, disease-ridden frickin' alligators. It's going to chew them up. Oh, here's one other thing too. This map that I made has this very unique water that I found that has no collider except for one corner. So the water collider is back in this corner here, but this is really actually kind of cool. I set the water up, and you can see that as my party moves through the swamp, they actually sink down into the water, because they sort of fall through it, which I think is awesome. So it actually really gives them the sense that they're sort of trudging through water all, you know, every step they take. And then I'm gonna frickin' blast them. But it's a good thing Jogberg, the barbarian here, is he's no pansy. He's coming out double axis swinging. He'll be the first one to get turned into a pair of moccasins by the weregator. So yeah, I'll make this map available like I do with all my maps. I'm gonna take a few things off it and generally save it in this direction. Add minis, add your party, and enjoy. All right. Take care, everybody. Hey, thanks for all the subscribers. And actually, before I go and say I gotta do a thing here. Let's pack this map real quick. No, let's not pack this map. Let's hit clear, end. Always end. Don't forget to end. We're gonna go to games. I'm going to save this as my workshop table. Overwrite. Excuse me. So that saves that. Hit the lights back to normal. And then the last thing I'm going to do is go to games. And delete this. And games and workshop. Modern campaign map 3 load. Always when you're finished your game, your campaign, whatever it is you're doing, always make sure you exit out of one world and then save your world. If you don't save your saved game, and if you don't put one world in end, it keeps the script open. Ending finalizes the script and writes it and closes it off. But none of that stuff will get saved if you don't actually save your table. And this is the map that I stole that from. I just want to give kudos to this guy because this is really well done. And if you're running any kind of like some sort of weird, I don't know, I want to call this like a riffs map almost, because you've got like cool new tech with this helicopter and stuff like that. He's got some kind of weird mutated hags in the corner that are eating dudes in this cave that he's got back here. Like this is a beautiful frickin' map. There was a lot of time and energy put into this, and I just sort of ripped it apart and stole the pieces that I wanted. And then here's his water. Now his water has there's zombies back in here. Let's move these weak zombies over to the water. You can see that these guys stand right on top of the water. But yeah, oh, did I put the that his table is really like takes up the entirety of the table. I shrunk mine back down so that it keeps everything on the inside. If I right click and hit delete, no, it's not there. It'll be down in this end. Oh no, this is, what am I thinking? I don't have my one world on this table. But yeah, this is the map that it came from. As soon as I saw this and these trees, I'm like, oh, there it is right there. This is what I'm doing. I got the nice swampy grass. I got a cool dragon's lair, fledgling dragon's lair in the background. The trees look fantastic. I just got rid of all of this stuff up in here and made it swamp from one end to the next. And that's where I stole my idea from. So yeah, there you go. Anyways, let's keep this, let's call her done. Thanks, guys.